Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining this event. Cecilia is our guest for today. For today, for the US time, and for tonight, let's say for Europe, for at least for my time zone. Welcome, Cecilia. Can you hear me? Cecilia, can you hear me? Or are you having any problem with the audio? Right, so I'll wait for, let's say, for 1 minute. Maybe there's something going on with your side. So let's see if you're gonna fix it pretty quickly. And can someone contact Cecilia from I don't know, from like LinkedIn or WhatsApp or whatever? So meanwhile Cecilia is preparing, I would like to make an introduction of what we're going to do today, and also an introduction of Cecilia. Okay. Oh, I think that she has disconnected and will reconnect. So just till she comes back, I will just make a short introduction. She has been Cecilia, but has a very rich experience, and she has a long experience when it comes to technology. So we will ask her some questions about her background, about how she has succeeded. Meanwhile, you have the questions and answers part yourself. So in case that you have any questions, you can ask. You don't have to wait for me, or at the same time, you don't like, I mean, my questions may be a bit boring, so you can ask any kind of questions that you may have. Yeah, it sounds that she's having more problems. So I will ask our people from the marketing, from the event planning team, what's going on. So just give me 1 minute, guys. Okay, so sorry everyone for the delay. It seems that she is having some technical problems. Actually, we had previous video calls with Cecilia. She did not have any problem in our previous meetings, but it seems that now she's having. So meanwhile, I don't know if you have any questions and anything to say. Just let me know till she's here. Well, and meanwhile, I would like to know if how many of you guys are, part of the IT world. Like how many of you are students or people who are working? Maybe if you can let us know. You can type your questions, or you can speak it out. If you want to raise your hand. Like, so, I mean, I'm sorry again for this technical problem. Okay, so there's one question. Career transition, not in IT yet, from Mary. Okay, Mary. So, like, if you don't mind, you can open your mic, or if you don't want to do that, well, then let me ask you. You can type it. So, what is your transition? I mean, what is your current, let's say, profession? And like, IT is a broad term, so like, what are you learning now? Are you going to be I don't know, like cybersecurity specialist, full stack? So what is your let's say your aim, the target? operation managers to front end web developer. Okay, so I'm a full stack. Well, I went from let's say, my major was in filming. Then I did a lot of teaching, and now I transitioned my career to full stack development. So we're pretty close, right, to each other. Okay, I got a question from David. First alert, though, there was 4 p.m. ET. Today's alert said 3 p.m. Oh, David, it's not related to that. Like Cecilia was here. She could not open the mic, because I can see the participants here and the panelists. So she was here. That's why I welcomed her at the beginning and told her that I had to open her mic. And then suddenly, I think she disappeared. Well, I don't want to use the word disappeared, but I mean, like she had those problems. So we're waiting for her to reconnect. I'll ask again now what's going on. Oh, no worries, David. No worries. Okay. So more people are coming, more people are joining us, and well, I mean, we don't have the panelists still now. Okay. Well, just one more second. Again, I will ask again what's going on. I'll just have a phone call, a short one, and ask. Okay, so someone is typing me. Okay. All right, just 1 second. Let me have this phone call. Okay, so we got another question. Can you talk a bit about the programs offered? Mary, you are asking about the Clarisway programs, right? So guys, by the way, I can see the question and answers. You cannot see them. So there's a question from Mary asking about the programs offered. So you mean the web development, right? Front end and full stack, right, Mary? Okay, so yeah, your answer is yes. So basically, I mean, I'm not exactly the right person to talk about it because I'm just one of many alumni. But when it comes about my time, because now I know that the backend part has changed. We had like 3.5 months of front end where there was like HTML, CSS was okay. Okay, Wayne, I will come to your questions too. I mean, the CS we started with computational thinking at the very beginning, and then we had HTML, and after that we go to CSS, like a lot of CSS, and then we go to SAS. After that, it was like JavaScript. It was I don't know, maybe 25 lessons or something, and then we had advanced JavaScript, and then we go to one of the frameworks, which was React. I mean, as you may know, there are a lot of frameworks. React is a library, but a lot of people call it a framework, by the way. And after that, we started with the backend part. Well, with the backend, we learned Python, and like just as an extra programming language, and then Django for as a backend framework. It took, so just to talk about personal experience, it took me about 2 months to land a job. So like to land a remote job, let's say. So if you have more specific questions, you can ask me, Mary. And there's a question from Wayne. Since there is a lot of layoffs recently, is it a good time to get into the tech industry? I mean, I'm not the right person to answer that, but my experience was pretty positive. The experience of a lot of people is also pretty positive. However, I know that there are a lot of layoffs recently, but what I have heard from let's say people that know more than me, right, to more senior people, is that these layoffs have not really impacted the programmers, as much as the other people. And also we had a kind of boom during the pandemic, so that the number of people that were hired was pretty high compared to let's say to a normal timing. So it's normal to have these layoffs. If it is a good time to get into the tech industry, well, it totally depends on you guys. But if I can say my own advice, is a pretty good time to get into DevOps and AWS engineer, like cloud engineer, right? So DevOps engineering and AWS, Amazon Web Services. Why I'm giving this advice, because I asked actually my wife to have this course. So my wife works for the municipality. She's a teacher, and she was not very happy with her job. So, from what I could see, that there's a lot of interest when it comes to the DevOps. So I asked my wife, I told her there's this opportunity. Do you want to do it? And she will start the course after 15 days or 14 days. Okay, there's another question. By the way, guys, today's format is not that way, right? Like, we had a guest, Cecilia. She's having these problems with her, well, let's say with the internet. I don't know what's going on, because I'm just let's say the moderator here. However, it's nice to have this conversation here. Please take my let's say my answer not as a real expert, because I'm pretty new, guys. Like I just had a boot camp, finished a boot camp, landed a job, and I do these tech talks. However, I try to share my experience. So, okay, Mary, I will come to your questions too. So I'll try to go one by one. Mrs. Powell, I'm sorry, guys, if I'm mispronouncing names and surnames. Hello, I'm not into the IT world. No idea how to start, or if I would like. I don't want to waste money taking out loans. I think I would want to get into forensic cybersecurity. So, well, before coming to that part, Mrs. Powell, I mean, you don't have to spend money, right? YouTube is for free, and if you want something more professional, just get to Udemy, right? There are a lot of courses there, so get into them. See if you understand, right? Like get with these beginner-friendly courses. There are tons of them on Udemy. I mean, if you just search for them online, you will see. And if you see that, okay, you understand what's going on, and more importantly, you like what's going on, and also check the what is called the market, right? Like, go on LinkedIn and look for these jobs. And if you see that, well, there are a lot of jobs, then maybe it is worth it. I mean, it's totally up to you. It's totally up to you. But yeah, I would advise you, don't spend money, don't take loans. I mean, I would really be happy if you don't do that, because if you don't know what you want to do. However, you can start with something rather simple. And those courses really help you, because if you get into a boot camp, if you get into, I don't know, programming course, and you have knowledge coming from your, let's say, online courses, then it is pretty helpful. So that would be my advice. Mary, I'm also looking into DevOps, but it doesn't seem like it's a path for beginners. Well, I mean, it's hard if you don't have technical knowledge. So I don't want this to be a kind of advertising because this is a tech talk. So, however, I had like kind of worries when it comes to my wife, and I talked to many people, and the courses at Classway are pretty long. They last about 8 months. So it starts from the very beginning, right? From the IT fundamentals to the rest. But what I know from people that have started DevOps is that you have to work a lot. Like, let's say if you have 3 hours of online course, like with Classway or with any other bootcamp, you have to work at least 4 or 5 more hours. But there is something for sure. DevOps is rewarding, Mary. So, I mean, I totally would say go for it. So, by the way, I got a message. Cecilia is coming in 2 minutes, hopefully. Yeah, but we can go with more questions. I mean, and you don't have to type. If you want, you can just ask for the microphone, and you can just this can be a conversation. Yeah. Well, yeah, and like besides cybersecurity, like DevOps, there's also the chance a lot of people go with data science, full stack development. But what I have seen is that definitely there's a lot of interest when it comes to DevOps, especially coming from North America. I mean, also in Europe, but because I do like some of the, let's say, introduction events of Classway when we introduce our, let's say, courses, and I can see there's a lot of interest when it comes to DevOps. It's kind of new compared to the other. It's rewarding. The salary is usually higher. There are not a lot of people who do it or who can do it. So yeah, that like if I could, let's say if I could choose again, would I go with DevOps? Maybe no, because I had previous experience with with full stack. I was learning JavaScript and by myself, like for more than 1 year, and that's why I mean I really like full stack. But if I was a total beginner, maybe I would go with DevOps, definitely. All right. So by the way, like our marketing team has shared the link. But this is just a Slack community. It's not about let's say. Sorry, I have to check the phone sometimes on what's going on. It's not about like only the boot camps, but it's like a tech community. Like there are news shared there. There are job opportunities shares, events like this one, they are shared. So yeah, I would definitely let's say suggest you to join our Slack community, Classway Slack community. And also, meanwhile, there are a lot of people here. Let me benefit from that. And I will share my own LinkedIn account, so you can also always add me. I mean, as I mentioned, I'm pretty new into this, but if you have any questions, just ask me. Here is my LinkedIn account, and that's my name, Enea Gega. It's an old Greek name. Personally, I'm from Albania, to give some more, let's say, personal information. Okay. Okay, I think this is pretty cool. You were able to find work so fast in 2 months after completing program. Well, Mary, to be honest, there were people much faster than me, and there are people who still haven't found a job. So there are a lot of, let's say, factors when it comes to finding a job, right? Like first one is like how many jobs you have applied for, right? like what you are willing to take and what you are willing not to take, right? So for example, there were a lot of people that, well, I don't want to say a lot, but there were people who went with an internship, paid or unpaid, right? There are people who are looking for something more, and there are people who don't feel ready yet. But in general, people who look for and who apply a lot, and also who follow the let's say the tips and advice from Clarusway's let's say career management coaches, is find a job a bit more easily, you know, because it's not only about what you know, but it's also about what you can show to people, right? Like how can you let's say present yourself. But yeah, there were people who found a job even before finishing the boot camp. Yeah. Okay. So, by the way, I can see that attendance is, well, what I can guess from the names though, is mostly from women, because that was one of our women intake series. I really like this let's say this series, these episodes, because like maybe I have the wrong feeling, but there are not enough women in the tech industry. So like when more and more people are interested, personally, I feel happy about it. That's why I actually, as I mentioned, let's say kind of, I don't want to say inspired, but I wanted my wife to get into it. Okay, and the last message from our team. Yeah, the link has been sent to Cecilia. She should be ready to join. I think she had a problem. I don't know exactly what the problem is, but it took pretty long, so I'm sorry for that. But yeah, we can go with more questions. I mean, I'll try to answer them. And if I can't, well, I'll ask people here that are in our panelist list. Maybe they have more information than me. Oh, by the way, like, are you most of the guys here from North America, like from US and Canada? Because what I can guess from the names, it looks like. Well, what made you sign up for the program for the program with Classway after studying JavaScript by yourself for 1 year? Maybe JavaScript was even a bit more than 1 year, but seriously, it was about 1 year. Well, I was looking for a bootcamp, to be honest. So it's not that, you know, like Classway came and I was invited. I was looking for a bootcamp, so I had some chances. There were online bootcamps in Turkey. Actually, I didn't even want to have an online bootcamp at first. So I went with some, let's say with some, I checked what chances I had. I wanted to go to Singapore firstly. There was a training course there in a university for about 6 months. So I checked my savings accounts and I realized that I could not survive in Singapore. That was the first thing. So I said, okay, like it's a pretty nice country. Oh, it would probably be easy to find a job if you go there. It's like the salaries are pretty high. So why not? I wanted to try. But when I checked my bank account and I checked the rent, I checked everything in Singapore, I discovered that it would take me a lot of effort to survive there. And with let's say if you go with a just 6-month visa, you cannot work. So I couldn't. And then I saw some other opportunities in Europe. There was a really nice one in Prague, but that was a bit short. It was like about 3 months. And then, like, while checking on, there are these websites where you can check you can check, let's say, reviews about the boot camps. And well, I just listed them. for Istanbul because I live here. So I'm Albanian, my wife's from Turkey. And well, like I think Classway was a nice option. I mean, the time was pretty important for me. It was about 8 months. So I said, okay, like if they're having this bootcamp for a pretty long time, then it means that it's a serious place. And it turned out to be. At the same time, like I checked the hours, it was like 3 hours of live sessions almost every day, like 4 or 5 times a week. If we don't count the workshops and if you don't count the, let's say we have these team leads when one person is the leader of the team and we ask questions to each other and then we solve algorithm problems together. And the next day we have workshop when we do a project together. So it was pretty nice. That was the reason why I chose it, to be honest. I just so like when you are trying to make a choice, definitely go into these let's say review or bootcamp review, let's say platforms. They switch up. There's course, I forgot the name. I'll have to check. Yeah, and there was. So just when you're looking for a bootcamp, basically, like make your own research about the bootcamp. You'll be able to Career Karma. Thank you, Mary. Yes, Career Karma. So there are like 3 main one. I'm gonna type it now. Bootcamp. Bootcamp. 1 second, please. Bootcamp review platforms. Okay, so course report. Yes, course report. Switchup.org. And then there is the Career Karma. Yes, those three. Those three are the main. I mean, probably there are a lot of them, but these are the three, the main ones. And as far as I know, they go. And I mean, I haven't done any reviews yet because I'm affiliated with Classway now, so it wouldn't be really honest to go with that. But as far as I know, they go and they check, right? They verify. They can verify your LinkedIn account. They verify. So that's how. Okay, I'll make another call when it comes to Cecilia because I mean a technical problem is a technical problem, but this is taking like half an hour. So I'm really sorry. Just 1 second, please. Okay, guys. So this went more. This become more like a, let's say, an introduction event rather than a tech talk. Like I just had a call about what's going on. And they said that it will be she should be ready in 5 minutes when it comes to Cecilia. I mean, I'm pretty sorry about that. Sorry, we're interviewing you, and no, it's pretty nice. At least I have something to talk about. Yeah, just actually, guys, if you want, just let's have this kind of a space where we ask questions to each other. You can ask questions. You can even use the mic, as I said. Yeah, yeah. Well, so like my answer is, but your answers are helpful, especially for beginners. Yeah, because like it's a bit more easy to tell something to people who are juniors when you are let's say when you have started just recently yourself, you know what to go through. and it's not easy, right? It's not easy getting a lot of, let's say, so it's not easy to, let's say, to find a job. It's difficult to deal with it. You'll get a lot of, like, when you get to this, you get a lot of, let's say, because there are too many people who just start, right? So you have to stand out. You have to stand out in front of other people and show that you are different from hundreds of people that may apply. But it works. Eventually, it works. I mean, most of people, like, I'll talk about my own group. We were like 10 people. 2 of them restarted the boot camp, like from 8, let's say. 1 to 6 of us. Yeah, 6 of us have a job now. So is this. So we don't need a degree to get a software developer job. No, you don't need a degree. Now, you don't need a degree to start to find a job, because people look at your skills. They will look definitely at your GitHub account and see, like, how you have dealt, right? Like, how good are you at coding? And then you will go through technical interviews. You'll have some tests that we ask. Like, I had some. In one of them, I did pretty bad. I don't know why, but I did pretty bad. So it can happen. So yeah, you don't need a degree, because that is not what, let's say, recruiters are looking for. However, if you have an engineering degree, that definitely helps, because you are more familiar with the concepts. You are more familiar with, with computational thinking. Yeah, that definitely helps. I mean, I would like, if like, there were actually in our boot camp, let's say in my cohort, there were a lot of people who actually were studying. They were, let's say, engineering students, even computer engineering, and they still were doing a boot camp, because they were getting, let's say, what kind of skills they or, let's say, knowledge they get at school, at the university, at college, and then for, let's say, for the knowledge that the market needs, they were gaining from the boot camp. So that was a really win-win situation. But people that just started, that had not let's say, an engineering degree, also, I mean, learn, because it's how to say, it's something that you learn, right? As long as you have time, you spend enough time, you should be able to succeed. Yeah. But the definite answer is no. You don't need a degree. If you have one, it helps. It helps more. I mean, there may be some recruiters who look for people who have actually, let's say, the engineering knowledge. However, Mary, you told me that you want to go to front end web development. That would be, yeah, that for that, definitely you don't have to have the degree. All right, guys. Anything else? So actually, I will get to Mrs. Powell's question at the beginning, when she said that she does not really want to spend money, waste money, and take loans. So as far as I know, even though the boot camps in the US are a bit more expensive than the rest of the world, let's say, actually, they how to say, they are a bit cheaper than, let's say, having doing a 4-year degree, right? Because universities are pretty expensive there, as far as I know. Well, Mary, so you were a coder before you started the boot camp. Not exactly a coder, to be honest. I mean, I was doing coding. I knew most of the concepts. It's not that I was a total beginner or something, like. But there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people who started, like, from totally zero, and we had even people who did not really know how to use a computer. Like using the shortcuts, like being familiar with the computer or knowing how to use the terminal. There were a lot of people that didn't do that and they succeeded. I was not a total beginner, as I said, but I knew how to code. However, like the crucial skills that I gained, they were because of the bootcamp, because like we got really advanced knowledge. At the same time, we learned React, which is very helpful if you are looking for a job when it comes to front-end development, software development in general, but especially for front-end, because it's basically a front-end library. Now, guys, it seems that Cecilia cannot get connected no matter what she tries. So first of all, I want to apologize for that part. Secondly, because we had this long conversation here, I would like to ask you, would you like to keep having this conversation? And if you have any questions related to I don't know, to tech industry, I'll try to help as little as I know. Full stack development, I don't know, about the Clarisways bootcamp, whatever it can be, we can do it that way. We can go that way. Or if no, I really want to apologize and say goodbye. I mean, these are technical problems, even though they are not happening because of our side. They can happen. Say, I really want to apologize on behalf of Cecilia. So yeah, I would like to launch a poll. I don't know how to. Can someone launch a poll so I can ask people if they want to keep having this conversation or no? Because maybe I'm too boring. I don't know. But we have like a lot of people here. That's why I'm asking. Well, okay, so the launch that sorry, the poll that I launched is totally different. This is not what I wanted to launch, but so you can tell me from the question and answers part, okay, if you have any questions. Okay, and a lot of you seem to be coming from Slack. So, well, I will go with one more question. And so, is there anyone here who works in tech industry, like maybe as a developer, maybe as a cybersecurity analyst? I don't know, a data architect or whatever. Do we have anyone here? All right. So it seems that I try to answer to most of the questions. So as I mentioned, well, then I'll have to terminate our, let's say, our meeting here. It was really nice to see all of you, because we really had a lot of people, and it's a pity that we could not well, let's say, get or learn from Cecilia's let's say experience. I mean, I checked her CV. It's like it was an amazing CV. That's why we wanted to have this tech talk with her. However, it was still a nice experience to me. I like talking a lot. Yes, yes, I know, Mary, that poll was about how do you hear about the event. I launched it by mistake. I did not know how to create a new one. So I was going to ask people, and then I just clicked it by mistake. Yes, guys, we shared. Oh, Cecilia is here. Okay, guys, to those who are still here. All right, Cecilia, hello. So can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry about the delay. I was having hitches with my network. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. If you don't mind, can you please open your camera if you are a
Okay.
Yeah. So it's always better when people can see, right? The hosts.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I will just get into my questions in a second. I have to rewind them. So Cecilia, can you please make a short introduction of yourself, what you do, what you have been doing, and about your career? And so let us know, just please introduce yourself before we start with our questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Once again, and I'm so sorry again for the delay. I apologize. I hope I'm forgiven.
Yeah, I mean, things happen, right? So there's nothing we can do. It's okay.
Okay.
The technical problem can happen.
Yeah, and I'm so excited also to see the number of people participating to hear from me. I'm so excited. I'm happy to have you all here. So so my name is Cecilia Acheampong. I'm originally from Ghana, and I'm a finance or stroke data analyst. I work with ComputerShare, that is Walmart shareholder services. I work remotely, so I sometimes come to the States to work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now, one more thing, please. I can see that your camera is still closed. Can you please turn on the camera? Can you do that?
Right. 1 second.
Yes. Yeah, Mary, I could see she's not on screen. Okay. All right. Okay. So Cecilia, now I will start with our questions. By the way, guys, I mean, my questions can be a bit boring, so whenever you have a question, just ask from the question and answer part. You don't have to wait for my boring questions. Now, Cecilia, I will start with the first question, right? You let us know about your background. So I want to ask you about how has the tech industry evolved since you first started? So what trends do you see shaping the industry in the future? Like, what is much more different now than before?
Okay, so regarding my career transition, it's been quite a funny and at the same time interesting one, because I started off as a science student. So I read science in high school, and growing up, I had always wanted to do anything regarding data, but unfortunately, from where I'm coming from, the environment I'm coming from, we have something called most often you have to follow what your parents have to say. So you go by what your parents want instead of what you really want. Yeah. So I started off reading science, and then I quit, or I stopped from that the former high school that I was in, and I went to read business. That is in Ghana, we call it business. That is business related courses. And I went into the university with my first degree. I read finance, that is banking and finance. And all along, I still wanted to be or read data analysis or do machine learning, but I wasn't presented with the opportunity. But all along, it was still at the back of my mind that I would have to read this course, because one person that really motivated me to do that course was my brother. He was not my biological brother, but a cousin, so like more of a brother. Yeah. So I see him do the work, and I really admire him all the time. I can look at him over the window, do his work, and I go like, oh, I really want to do this. But as to when, I didn't know when. So after I finished my first degree, I started living on my own, and then I made that big decision to go into the tech world, because it was really difficult for me per se, because in the environment I was coming from, I believe globally, you see less women in tech. And I believe in this dispensation, the gap is actually even closing. But then it was really a big problem if you're a lady and you want to go into tech, because we have a lot of myth like surrounding that career. that is mostly for guys and it's difficult and all that kind of, but I pushed through it. I started taking courses online, and I one important thing that helped me was also to get a mentorship for my brother, and so guided me throughout, and then yeah, good to go. Here I am.
Okay, thank you for sharing your journey and how you started it. Now I want to talk about a bit of technical skills, right? So I mean, having the desire, yeah, is one thing. Wanting to do something is one thing, but having these technical skills and gaining them is one thing. So if you want to build a career in technology, what technical skills do you think are the most important for someone that is looking to start to build a career in tech? And how can you develop those skills? You can specifically talk about your field, or you can talk in general. It's totally up to you. But let us know, what are these technical skills that people need?
Okay, so when we talk about the technical skills, I'm going to look at web designing. I'm going to look at Python, learning Python as well, and also analytics, and also one important technical skill I presume is problem solving, for you to be a problem solver, and also artificial intelligence, which is now developing so fast, and machine learning, as I mentioned previously, and also the SQL. Yes, and right. And also you would have to also be familiar with some of the programming languages that we have. And to develop how you can develop these skills, I always say the first thing is to get mentorship. You have to get mentorship, and then you would have to make up your mind to build that skill, because it's though we have a lot of myths around it, you have to make a determination to build that skill. So personally, for me, I dedicated an hour in the whole day to build upon data analytics. So that is what I did when I was coming up. So I made a determination to build on that skill, no matter what anyone says. Though it was challenging when I started, like for my experience, it was challenging for me, because I was now starting afresh. Yes, and as sometimes another way that you can develop the skill is to talk to people who are already in that field. That is networking. So you network with people, you network with your connections. So one important tool that I used was LinkedIn. So I come on LinkedIn, I look at the people that are already in that career. I go through their profile, I connect with them. I do not come with the request immediately, but I get to know them personally, get them to share their experiences, what they've learned, and yes, and also taking classes online, if not in person. And another most important thing is also joining online sessions like this, as we are having, so you can be abreast with the current trends. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned the programming languages. Yes. So I will come to your question. Just one more question to Cecilia from my side. So you mentioned that programming language you have to learn. So which one? Let's say, I mean, all of them are pretty good because they, let's say, serve different purposes, right? For me, JavaScript has been really helpful because I have been into full stack development. Like, what do you think, what is the programming language that you would advise people to learn the most? Is it Python, as you mentioned, and why?
Yeah, so personally, I started with Python and Java. That is what I started with. Yeah.
Okay, so Mary, can you see the question? Sorry, Mary, I have been talking to you for too long to you. So Cecilia, can you see the questions and answers part, or do you want me to read because there's a question? Can you see them?
No. Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I see them. Yeah.
Okay, so the last question, please. How did your business and finance background help you learn machine learning?
Yes, so I think it really helped me in my data analysis career, because business and finance had to do with a lot of calculations, a lot of mathematical, a lot of you using your critical thinking skills to solve problem or to solve equations and get things correct. So with that background, it also shaped me into taking that course. Yeah, so it did help me, especially with the finance background.
Okay. And you mentioned that that online courses are pretty helpful, right? If you want to develop your skills. So did you go with YouTube, Udemy, or is there any online course that you would like to, let's say, advise, tell people, or suggest people?
Can you come again with the question?
Yeah, so there's a question about what online courses you started with, the online courses. So did you get these courses from YouTube, Udemy, or other platforms?
Yeah, so I started off with LinkedIn has the LinkedIn Learning app, different from the right. So I started with the beginner course in data analysis. That is what I started with. Yeah.
Okay.
And I got connected to the tutor that was I connected with her on LinkedIn, and then I asked my questions by after she's accepted the connection. I started getting to know her because I really liked her insight into the course, though I was a beginner. So I started with a beginner course, and then I upgraded. If you want to upgrade into more of the data analysis, you have to pay. The beginner was free, so I had to pay, and then get it.
Okay, thank you. So there's one question about building a strong personal brand. Is one question we have here, but I would like to go first into networking. So you mentioned LinkedIn, and I always say, because this is what we have been taught, that networking is pretty important. So can you tell us how important is this networking on landing a job or on creating a personal brand?
I didn't hear the question. Can you repeat that
again? How important is networking when it comes to landing a job?
Yeah. Okay, so personally, from my experience, networking has helped me a lot. Especially, it has helped boost my professional confidence. And I do believe that networking helps greatly in one's job set, because for me, all the jobs that I've had, or all the companies that I worked with, was through networking, was through a referral from my connection, was through a connection sending me the job link to apply or something like that, or even companies themselves or HR managers sending me a message directly through LinkedIn to check the job out. So I think, first of all, you would have to try as much as possible to build your profile, because you would have to build, because a certain kind of profile attracts employers. So when your profile is built to that level, you wouldn't have to always look for job. The job actually looks for you, even when you don't expect it, right?
Okay, thank you. So there are two questions. The first one is about, so employers are okay with LinkedIn Learning. Let me answer to this one pretty short. As far as I know, employers and recruiters don't really care what you have learned and where you have learned it from. They care about what you know. As long as you know it, really people don't mind. Important is to do the job. At the end of the day, if you can do the task, that's enough. All right. So I mean, at least when it comes to the tech world. Now that we have another question, can you please read the last question, Cecilia? It's about you.
Yeah. So Mary said you were so determined to make machine learning your future. What did you like about it? And how did you keep your determination and focus? I love that question so much. I think I was asked a similar question last week by a connection. So I was so determined to learn it because first of all, I realized there was a gender bias, as I mentioned previously. And when you are not so determined and strong-willed, you would back off. though regardless of whether you want to do it or not do it, because the competition is really tight in the tech industry. So yes, I was determined to do it with or without my parents' help, as I mentioned earlier regarding my parents, the constraints and the limitation that I face. But if you make up your mind, it all starts with a decision. It all starts with a decision that this is what I want and that is what I want to go for, regardless of what people are saying, regardless of even what family is saying, regardless of what the environment is telling me. This is what I want and that is what I go for. Yeah.
Okay, so well, it's important, right, to know what you do. I mean, because it's not only about what people say, but there's one point when you feel that you can't do it, or there's one point when you feel like, okay, this is too difficult for me. At least has happened with me. I mean, there has been moments where I felt that, you know, I was about to cry. Like, how can I not do it? How can I not understand it? So it happens. So we have, I have a question which is related to people who are transitioning, who are moving from one type of career to the IT. Mine was from teaching. The last thing that I was doing was teaching to the IT. So what advice would you give to someone who is transitioning from non-technical background, it can be any background, into the tech industry? And how can they make, you know, how can they make it? Like, what would you like to advise to these people? Because we have a lot of people who, before you came, I had those kind of questions. So that's why yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for the question. So there is something, I don't want to say it's a saying or it's just a proverb that I really love, and it's been part of me, it's been my mindset, and that is that you can do anything that you put your mind to. So anything that you decide and you put so as long as you put your mind to it, you can do it. And for people that want to transition, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't start as a data analyst. I started with a science background. I came to do finance. I even taught for a while before I started this whole thing. So the first thing I would say is that, number one, you would have to be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself in as much as you take on courses, in as much as you are networking, you are connecting with people in that field. Be patient with yourself and do not give up on yourself. Continue to take on professional development, to develop yourself to wherever you want to see yourself. And then always know that mistakes are always part of your learning process. Definitely, you're gonna make mistakes. The experiences that you have in your previous career, you're gonna need it in the tech field. So you have to be patient with yourself and don't give up.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the only skills that you probably will need or will have to use are those soft skills. So I believe people who are trying to transition from non-tech to tech world should not only learn, right, the technical skills, but they should also go with soft skills, including networking, including like the essential skills on how to create a nice CV. Now, would you have some questions about mentorshiping? But I have an interesting question, because you mentioned that mentorship is important, so I won't go with that. But I have two very interesting questions. The first one is about how can you negotiate your salary, you know, especially when you are a total beginner. So like, or let's say when you have your first junior job, because like you go with, okay, it's the first job, maybe I don't really care, and I'm going to get as much as they need me. But however, it's not that way, because you get an offer, maybe you can negotiate, right? The offer that you get usually is not the final offer. So
yeah,
how would you, what would you tell people, you know, what kind of skill, if you can, you know, or how would you advise people on how to negotiate, or should people negotiate when it comes to their first salary?
Okay, so when it comes to salary negotiation, all I would have to say is that since most often, if you are an entry level and you've not really done your research well, it's likely you're going to be cheated on. Yeah. So what I'm going to say with regarding this question is that,
sorry, what, cheat? You mean cheated upon?
Yes, cheated upon. Yeah.
Well, it depends. Well, that was not my case with my first company, so I have to say that. But yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah. 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 So I would say that you should mostly do your research, and definitely, since you are an entry level applicant, you start with a figure that's no more than 10 to 20% above their initial offer. So you start. So if they are, let's say they are offering you, let's say, I'm just mentioning any figure here. So let's say they are offering you about $10K. Just make sure that you start with 10 to 20% above that offer. And remember that you are applying for entry level, and you shouldn't expect something on the higher range. So consider your negotiation lower if you do the 10 to 20% places. And actually it actually works because it will place you above the average salary.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah. 10 to 15% seems reasonable. I mean, when people come with an offer, let's say of 10K, I mean, that the maximum they probably will give you is 11 or 12, right? No one comes with, okay, let's try with 10. If they are not happy, we're going to give 20. It doesn't work that way for sure. Yes. So we have a comment. If you don't go into negotiations prepared, you might be underselling your skill set. Use level for information on other websites like Glassdoor and PayScale to see what the industry salaries are like. Yes, well, like this a bit depends on country. For US, that is pretty right. For other countries, there are definitely other websites. But yeah, this is a great advice. So you should check, right? You should check what the average salary is. Like a simple Googling would help you with that. Yeah, thank you for advice. Now, we have a question about some interesting project you have worked on. Can you tell us some, maybe 1, 2 interesting projects that you have worked on? You can
so hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So basically for now, since I started that career, I have worked on web scraping. And if you're familiar with Python, you can use tools like Beautiful Soup or Scrappy to crawl the web for interesting data. That is, but if you don't know how to code, don't worry, I'm so sorry about that. And so I have worked on projects including web scraping. I have also worked on data cleaning for a company that I worked for. And yeah, and so far currently I'm working on sentiment analysis. That's what we call it here, sentiment analysis. So it's typically performed on textual data. Yeah, and it's a technique that we use in natural language processing. Yeah, so we mostly use it to determine whether the data is neutral, positive, or negative. Yeah, so that is what I'm currently working on.
Oh, that seems interesting. I mean, I don't know much, but it seems interesting, right? And how to determine like what the data is. Okay, so I would like to let me see if there are some other questions. So there seems no other questions from the participants. So I would go with another question, which is about the soft skills. Can you give us some more advice when it comes to the soft skills also, please? Like, what are some crucial soft skills that people should have? Like, if you know what I mean with the soft skills.
Yeah, so when it comes to the tech industry, some of the soft skills that I recommend we go in for is critical thinking, and also communication skills, like as communication and collaboration, like I'll put it that way, communication and collaboration, and also time management. And another thing that I would talk about, as I think I mentioned that previously, is to be self-aware of what you are worth, or what you are. Do not let anyone underestimate you, even if you don't know. Take up the task, go do your research, and come do your job. Right. So yeah, so you some of the skills communication and collaboration, time management, and you also definitely you have to be a computer literate to be able to do all these things. Yeah, and project management as well.
Okay, thank you. Now, there's one question about, well, I was expecting for this one about ChatGPT. Are you excited about it? Do you think that it's gonna, like, what do you think the impact is gonna be?
Yeah, I'm so excited about it because I saw that coming because of the new developments in technology and the advancements all around. So I'm excited about that.
Okay, so because we are kind of passing our time, I would like to go with the last one or two questions, and then we will share your LinkedIn profile so people can ask you any questions that they have, and they can connect with you or with me. Now, I mentioned before that I wanted to talk. No, I think maybe I didn't. I'm not sure. So I would like to talk about imposter syndrome, right? Like when people doubt themselves. Like I can talk about previous experience, I can talk about my friends, like we would have this kind of conversation where people think that, okay, I'm not good at it, well, I don't feel that I can do it. So how can you deal with it? How can people deal with it?
Yeah, so I mostly relate with that topic very well because coming up in the tech industry, especially when someone is pretending to be someone else in order to deceive people, right? So in dealing with that, you would have to be yourself. Be yourself. Do not doubt your skills and your accomplishments. Try to have high regard for people who are already there. And it's good to admire people from afar. It's good to admire your mentors or your connections that you have. But make sure that you don't look down upon yourself. Try as much as possible not to look down upon yourself. Be proud of where you are, how far you've come. Though you want to improve on it, be proud of it, and then look for the avenues or the ways to improve on that, even as you build in your confidence. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like if you go to something that difficult, because you're here, you know, there are a lot of let's say online courses, boot camps, whatever that can tell you, okay, you know, coding is easy, or this is easy. It's not, definitely it's not. So if you get into the field, right, and if you get into the industry, and if you have already, you know, took that decision, it means that you are doing something that 95% of people are not even daring to do. So that is something that is definitely helpful. Now, because we kind of are coming to the end, I would like to answer to the last question. But I would like you to answer to the last question, which is about upskilling. This is a very important topic because there are a lot of stories about people who learned coding back in the times they could not keep with the skills, and so they had like difficult times. So what about you? How do you keep with upskilling?
Yeah, so keeping up with upscaling, again, I'm going to say, since technology is moving in a fast pace, especially in this generation that we are in, so join or subscribe to newsletters or podcasts regarding technology. Try as much as possible to always advance yourself professionally. That is the professional development in taking up courses, and also read more books about every technology topic that you come across. Just read books about it. Try to connect with people to know what's happening, and then so joining, subscribing to newsletters, podcasts. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you very much. And what is the last advice that you would give to people like that are trying to get into the tech industry? If you have any last advice, if there's something that you would like to say.
Can you repeat the question? I didn't get
No, I mean, what is the last advice or the last thing that you would like to say to people who are here, you know, regarding to the tech industry, especially to women? So what would be your advice to them?
Yeah. Yeah, so what I'm going to advise is that yes, they should know that it's possible, and then they can do much more than they think. And then once they set their mind to, they should believe that whatever they set their mind to, they can do it. So yes, you can do. If I can do it, you can do it, and there is no limit to what where your mind can go. So believe in yourself, have confidence in yourself, take up the initiative, and go get it.
Thank you. Okay, Cecilia. So first of all, I would like to thank you for being here with us. Yeah, we had these technical problems at the very beginning, but still, it was a lovely conversation that we had here with you. It was a real pleasure for me to see you and have this conversation and being inspired by yourself. At the same time, I would like to thank people who ask questions here. Especially Mary. Mary, you saved my day with your questions, with a lot of questions that you had. Definitely thank you. And I would like to thank Mrs. Powell, Wayne, and David, to all guys here who asked the questions to us and were interested. I would like to thank everyone who participated and stayed here with us. Yeah, my last words would be: it is not easy, but definitely it works. So yeah, I hope we can hear your success story too, right? I hope one day I would be able to have this kind of conversation with everyone who is here. Yeah. Now here on the webinar chat, we have shared our Slack tech community link. As I mentioned, it's not about advertising. It's not about things like that. Is just an IT community. It's just a tech community where we share those events. Where where even there are jobs here. There are people who ask questions, people who answer to those questions. So yeah, definitely join our the tech community. Secondly, I have shared my LinkedIn account. You can always, just get connected to me because, as we mentioned, networking is pretty important. And lastly, I have shared Cecilia's LinkedIn account. I hope if you don't mind, I did that without asking you, but if someone has any questions, if they want to connect to you, I left your link there, your LinkedIn account. I hope you don't mind that, Cecilia.
No, I don't mind. And before I go, I would want to say a very big thank you to the team, to Tim, to Summit. I really appreciate the honor and the privilege. I'm most grateful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And to everyone present here, thank you.
Okay, thank you for being here too. Guys, if you have any last questions, whether either to me or Cecilia would be here to answer to you. I'll give like some seconds if there is a last question. Well, if not, as I mentioned, it was a pleasure. I really love these tech communities, and in 2 days, we have another event which is about why technical skills are not enough. So we're going to talk about soft skills there. Yeah. So it seems that there are no questions. Well, thank you very much for everything, for everyone being here. There's one question. There's a very particular question, Cecilia. So it is, what advice does she have for new immigrants?
Yeah, so for new immigrants, all I would say is that you should believe in yourself, believe in what you are capable of. Believe in, you have to. That is the number. If there's anything I should say to you, is to believe in yourself. Do not let anyone look down on you. Do not look down upon yourself personally. Just believe in yourself.
Yeah, immigrating on itself is not an easy job. So you have actually did a pretty big job, right? There are a lot of people who want to immigrate to different countries, and they can't really get over the paperwork. They can't really, overcome the obstacles. But if you did that, it means that you can definitely, let's say, do more. I have not really been an immigrant, let's say, in those terms, so I cannot talk a lot. But like, as someone who started in Turkey and lived here for a long time, yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult, but my own advice would be, if you are interested into the tech industry and community, get in contact with people who live nearby you and are into the tech community. So yeah, you're welcome. Well, I can't pronounce your name, sorry. Yeah, so I think it's Worley, but sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Yes, guys, so thank you one more time and have a lovely afternoon for those of you who are in the US, and have a great evening for those who are with the European time like me. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.